What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Pricey Popcorn Podcast. I'm Brady here with Ben, streaming live from the casting couch. We got a double episode today, so we're excited to be back.
You're getting socked if you say casting couch again, you son of a bitch. But yeah, it's good to be back. Don't tell anybody, but this is the second episode we're recording today. Today, this time around, we're talking about the greatest villains of all time.
Yeah, this was kind of a sporadic episode. We were just talking the other night of like, who's the most iconic villain in movies of all time? Like, we didn't have this plan. It kind of just came up in conversation. I was like, we can just do a quick video.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about here. Like, and I'm sure some of y'all might have your own opinions of like who's your favorite villains growing up and everything. I guess we're gonna kind of start by talking about just our personal like top 5 lists. Then we're gonna get into it, kind of look at some other lists that are out there on the internet and see.
We read some really bad lists that we really disagreed with. Not that we're right in saying this, but
I think you're crazy
when you think of most iconic villains of all time. I think the one thing we agreed on to start was it's by like decade. Like generations will have different ones,
but there's still some that kind of like still just reign supreme.
Yeah. So the first one, and I think it's easy, but like anytime any person ever breathes in a dark, you immediately think Darth Vader. Like you can just be doing it to do it or trying to meme or whatever it is. Darth Vader is the most iconic because I think Star Wars is probably top tier, iconic franchise and movie. So
yeah, and like I mean, yeah, the biggest franchise. Well, one of the biggest franchises out there, and definitely like I think the most iconic villain. And I mean, with the plot twist, and there's 3 solid movies of good Darth Vader content. Yeah, Darth Vader's just menacing, evil, and great villain. Great to head your franchise.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can beat him. I mean.
Yeah, I'd be interested if you think that somebody is a better villain than Darth Vader.
Please let us know.
Please let me know so I can debate
I just want to hear.
I
just want to hear why you think it's someone else other than Darth Vader.
Yeah, and like I'm interested to hear who it would possibly be.
And if you haven't watched Star Wars, it doesn't count.
And mind you, we're talking about in movies. Yeah. We're not talking about your favorite villain from like some fairy tale. None of that. No, we're talking about movie villains. Darth Vader. Number one,
without a doubt. And most of the lists we looked through had him at one.
Yeah, that's a common thing.
It makes sense. Like I think we can all be on the same page here. My number 2, I'm going to switch it up from what I just told you. I think the only person who can kind of get Darth Vader should at least be in the conversation is Joker. I think that's the only one. Like he's got his own movie now.
And well, which Joker are you talking about? Because to me, you can't loop them all, and you can't just say Joker. You got to say which Joker.
If you say Joker, you automatically think Heath Ledger Joker. So it's Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah, Heath Ledger Joker is the greatest. Yeah. So I mean,
he's the only one I think could. If you said Joker in response to Batman, I'd say like okay.
So I'm gonna I got Joker as 4 on my list. Well, so number 2 is the Wicked Witch of the West.
That's fair.
Iconic.
Dorothy's
like the Wizard of Oz is kind of that's some of the biggest cinema, some of the most revolutionary kind of filmmaking ever, and I just can think about watching that movie and just being absolutely in fear of the Wicked Witch of the West. I think that that character, that green evil witch, is such a well done thing that even for that time period, that was like
I'm with you.
That was
I definitely didn't
almost a century ago.
Definitely didn't think of that one. So that's definitely, I think, a little unique and outside the box. I don't think anyone could really disagree with you.
No, I mean, like, you could kind of say, well, she kind of goes out like a punk.
Yeah. I think it's a little high. I'll be honest with you. I think it's a little high for number 2.
I don't know. It's like, to me, it's super iconic.
I would say it is very iconic.
You think about how many people, I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too. Just as much as, I'm melting. Like, that is, I mean, again, with she kind of goes out like a punk, but like, to me, it's.
I'll just say it's been around for. I don't know when the Wizard of Oz came out, but it's been.
I think the 30s.
Yeah, it's been like.
And that's the movie. I mean, there's the books.
Yeah, of course, but. Yeah, I guess that's why. So my number 3 then, kind of along the same page, not as old,
39.
but the shark from Jaws is my number 3.
I can get you with it.
So iconic, man. You don't even see him for most of it, and he's just bringing fear. into everyone
Right.
in those movies.
kind
Shout
of
out to my boy Jimmy. He watches Jaws probably once a week.
That's kind of
if
a
not
liberal
more.
pick. Really? Jimmy watches Jaws that much?
He
Yeah,
definitely
Jaws
watches
is
once a
great.
month. He watches at least 12 times a year.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's tough for me to put the shark way there because the shark's not like a character.
Yeah,
The
but
shark
that's
is like,
The
the shark's like saying death is the
People say the same thing about Jaws. You said about like the Wicked Witch of the West and all of the Wizard of Oz. Like Jaws inspired fear when
Right,
it came
no,
out.
for
Like
sure.
it was
Like-
one of the like my mom still talks
just
about
not a
how like
character.
afraid she was of Jaws and stuff.
Yeah,
It
no,
is
like
a character because it's a thing.
It's a
He's
thing,
Jaws.
but it doesn't have like a character.
Yeah, but it's named after him. He's Jaws.
He is Jaws. You're
The-
right.
the
No, there's actually
Wizard-
a name that Bruce or something.
The Wizard of Oz isn't called the Wicked Witch of the West.
No, it's not named. You're right. Damn, you got me there, son. I didn't realize. Well, my number 3. Do I? Oh shoot. It depends. So I have like a list that is my like villains in my life that I feel to be the most iconic, but then villains that I kind of more on an objective level.
Let's talk about objective. We can get into our
Yeah,
favorites
so I
then.
put Hannibal Lecter as number 3 as just, I mean, that's franchise
probably
has spawned
good.
a lot.
Yeah.
That's an absolutely menacing character that just psychologically gets in your head. I mean, the entire movie that he's in, he's just in a cell and gets out at the end. Spoiler alert. But,
I don't think it's a spoiler alert because I think that movie's 20 years old.
well, yeah, I guess you're right. But like 20 years old, it's not that old in comparison to some. Maybe some, 20-year-old dude hasn't seen it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like Hannibal Lecter's never been a villain that has spoken to me that much. But like definitely, I've watched that movie recently and creepy as all get out. As far as like, kind of horror-ish, and it's more of a, it's not quite a horror movie.
Yeah.
But like as far as like, serial killer bad guys
I think it's
go.
like a psychological thriller.
Yeah, definitely takes the cake for me.
So then you said your number 4 is Joker.
So my 4 is Joker.
Mine is Thanos, and he's probably the most applicable to my, like, the last 10 years for me. I think Darth
Right.
Vader's, like, definitely one in terms of, like, what I've experienced. But I would say Thanos is just, like, he will be iconic in the next few generations just because best Marvel villain.
Right.
And,
So
he's so well written.
yeah, like I said, I have Joker as 4, but I have Thanos as 5 because I think that Thanos is going to stand the test of time and maybe be up there like 1, 2, 3. Not one,
perfectly
but like 2
written.
or 3. It's just so well written. So, and it's one of these characters that you can understand their mission, and it brings up conflict in
That's
the viewer.
why I love him, because it's not just like Joker trying to do it to be bad. I mean,
Right,
you
Joker
can get
just
into
straight
his
up is
like
trying to just cause
philosophical and
That's why
mental illness
Joker's
shit.
only 4 for
But
me.
yeah, Thanos is like he wants to do what he thinks is good.
Yep.
He truly
but
believes.
he's still a sociopath.
Truly believes
Right.
he's doing the right thing, and he's doing good for the universe.
Yep. And so, I mean, a lot of lists had Thanos really high up, but then I noticed those were like 2018 lists who had Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But even some movies, like I was reading some Marvel.
Oh, I didn't get to my
ones
5
that,
yet,
like,
man.
Oh, yeah. Well, some Marvel folks like didn't even have Thanos at the top, which baffled me. But what's your 5th?
So yeah, going on the theme of the list, I didn't really see him high up on any lists, but I'd have to say Voldemort for me.
That's interesting.
Which now, my friend Jimmy pointed out, he's not in over half the movies, but they mention him in all the movies, and it's like you can't say his name,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like evil, mysterious,
For sure.
true villain, a true icon. If you go up to anyone and say, can't say his name or don't say his name, they're probably the one the one who should not be mentioned.
He who should not be named.
Yeah, like
Yep. So I feel you, but I think that time might not be as kind to Voldemort.
I would agree.
Because, I mean, obviously we're going to think that we grew up, when Voldemort comes out in The Goblet of Fire, which was when I was in like 5th grade.
That's my favorite
That is
one.
the best version of Voldemort. They kind of get lazy with him from a visual
fair.
perspective throughout the rest of the movies, and then kind of like his character just becomes a little flat, I think. But I don't know. So like that's why Voldemort was not on my list. But Voldemort's on my personal list because I really like when Voldemort comes out of that cauldron, man, it shook fear into my soul.
Dark stuff.
And like there's definitely like there's something to that Voldemort character. But I think J.K. Rowling.
Well, who else is on your personal list?
So, personal list. I mean, so is it like personal or
just name a few who you got on there?
Because like I could more so talk about some honorable mentions at this point, with like Voldemort being one, but like other ones, big ones. Hans Linda from Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah, I love him.
Like, just absolute control of the situation.
Yeah, I love that guy.
And the Emperor is another one from Star Wars where, like, I'm not going to put the Emperor way up there, but I think definitely some kind of... such an interesting blend of that menacing kind of character, but also that, like, he can be, I'm afraid the battle station is quite operational. He's able to play those different sides in a sort of... funny way
I don't think he's like that iconic because I don't think it's his best role, but Leonardo DiCaprio's Calvin Candy in Django Unchained, love it.
Right.
Love him. But I wouldn't say he's like iconic. I just really like him.
True.
But that's just because I like
still
DiCaprio.
A great performance. Other ones for me, Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men.
Okay.
He was just, really cool to me. Another example of a guy who feels like you feel like he's in total control of the situation. You don't know how the character could ever win against this freaky sociopath. I'm going to put what is that weapon he uses?
I haven't seen that in so long. I've seen it, but it has been so long.
He uses one of those guns that like just pops a little like capsule, and I think they use it to like kill cows.
Oh.
And so he's pretty menacing, but not so much of like a character. But like then further down on my list, I would get into characters who are like kind of sympathetic villains, like the Killmongers of the world, the Magnetos of the world. Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming. I actually really like that character.
I don't. He irks me.
Really?
What's his name?
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, he irks me.
Why? What about him? What don't you like?
I just think he's...
Is it Michael Keaton you don't like?
No, I like Michael Keaton. Birdman's a great movie. I just watched that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just don't think he's... I think he's just like... It's not a well-written villain.
I don't know. To me, it is because of the fact that he's like he's the cleanup crew every time the Avengers come around and destroy some shit.
I mean, I get it. I guess it just doesn't do anything for me. I'm not empathetic with him.
And like the scene where he finds out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man when they're in the car.
Yeah.
And they have those just disgusting green lights shining on his face from the traffic light. Oh, it's like that, and his wrinkly, decrepit face. I mean, it's just to me, I really like that villain. Interesting take. Doc Ock, also a good one from Spider-Man, but not as good as, to me, the Vulture. What else do I have? You know what else? Who else is a good one? Who I loved growing up? Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's fair.
Tentacle kind of,
that's fair.
He was creepy, and but also they give him the heart literally in a box.
Some of my friends listening would kill me if I didn't say this. The true number one is Mike Myers.
Okay.
Just cause he's Mike Myers. But the
Mike
whole
Myers,
genre,
like as portrayed
Michael
the Cat
Myers,
in the Hat.
Sorry, Michael Myers.
I think Cat in the
Stab.
Hat. Mike Myers as Cat in the Hat is the greatest villain of all time. Imagine if he came to kill you.
You would be surprised who might agree with you on that. The Cat in the Hat is a menace in that movie. He's an absolute menace.
That was a weird era of film when they were doing those live action.
I think they gave Michael Myers worst actor of the year for his performance.
Really? You could. Yeah, I actually I steered clear of that movie. I will not watch that.
You have to partake in some substances and watch.
Some vitamins?
Yes, we'll take some vitamins and watch. We could live stream that one. All right, but to get back on topic, all the horror we have to mention all the horror, like Freddy, Jason.
So
Michael
here's why
Myers.
they lose points to me. It's that the movies are like
good.
They're not good, and they're also situated to like obviously the villain's gonna be like an iconic villain. It's all about seeing the villain kill people. Like they've got it going for them like that. So
I'd probably say Freddy. Freddy's the one that gets you in your dreams, right?
Yeah.
I'm not really, honestly, I really never watched those growing up. But yeah, I feel like he's the most menacing because like that's something you can't control. Like you can get, like Jason's just going to stab you and like kill you. And the hockey mask is like, ooh. But the getting you in your dreams, I feel like that's a little bit more scary.
So I kind of get into believability with that.
Yeah.
And so I will put Mike Myers as like the top of the horror movie villains because like that, like he is like I was dissing a little bit, but he's scary. He's scary and he's believable.
He's fast as hell.
And so I guess you could also kind of put Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy.
You ever watch those movies?
Yeah,
he's fat. He just walks.
Or is that Friday the 13th?
And it's Friday the 13th.
And I don't like Friday the 13th. I don't like Jason. Jason doesn't do it for me.
Doesn't do
I mean, the
for me.
original is kind of cool because it ends up being his mom. It ends up being Mrs. Voorhees the whole time. And so I will put Freddy ahead of Jason, but not ahead of Mike Myers. But I will put Pennywise from It above Freddy.
He's someone who they love him. Everyone loves him on these lists.
Yeah. Well, I think that, specifically Tim Curry's Pennywise.
Well, they've, I think he's so relevant right now that a lot of people, like red balloon over gutter, everyone knows what that is.
Right. So,
but in 10 years, you might forget. Because his movies aren't great.
Nope, none of the It movies have been that great. Even the made for TV obviously hasn't aged well. The new one, like the first of the new ones, was okay.
Yeah, but then the second one where I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's a good. Like I said, this was a good like impromptu one we could get into. But I think before we end, these lists that we looked at were bad. I want to shit on some of these lists.
So this Empire list here has Loki at number 3,
which is blasphemy.
Like what?
It's blasphemy. He's not even a top 3 Marvel villain.
Yeah, because I don't even consider him necessarily to be a villain. He's kind of he's just a mischievous motherfucker. I don't. Yeah, Loki. Kylo Ren at 7. Relax. And Voldemort at 9. Like, okay.
I'm okay with that.
And so you see the alien come up. You see Gollum come up. Those kinds. Sauron. So I was making a tier list to try to go.
What's Sauron from?
That's like the main Lord of the Rings villain.
So
that goes into villains I don't care about. Just like
I've never seen it, so I can't speak.
Yeah,
on it.
list of just like
there's just some bad
villains I don't care about. You see Hans Gruber come up a lot. I don't really.
He should be on there.
I guess. Agent Smith from I don't
know.
Why am I blanking on the name of the most iconic movie of all time? Neo.
Doesn't it say?
Matrix.
Oh, the Matrix. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in so long.
I don't really count that as one of the top villains. I mean,
yeah, there's just some bad lists of the Loki's blasphemy, and having Kylo Ren top 10 is awful.
Yeah, and like lists that put Thanos so far down are gonna really be checking themselves in about 5 years.
I mean, I'll concede and say Thanos isn't top 5 yet because he still has to grow before he's an icon, but he's top 10 right now, no question.
Right. So like this one's got Vader at 1, Joker at 2, which again, you had Joker high up. I'd put Joker in the top 5, but not like.
That's fair.
2 is tough.
Yeah, Hannibal Lecter's always up there.
Jaws sharp.
Yeah.
So then the guy from Schindler's List.
Schindler's List guy is just awful. I said this. Terminator, he's on this list that we're looking at right now from Insider. I feel like he should be higher up because everybody knows that line. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it.
Do you know Terminator as a villain or?
I don't think of him as a villain.
That's the thing.
I just think of him as he's just a character.
Exactly. So I
guess he's the bad guy.
In the first one, maybe.
So the one on there that always made me laugh was the villain from It's a Wonderful Life, Mr. Potter.
Right.
That's funny. And I think my dad would probably agree with that because we watch a movie every Christmas.
He's a schmuck,
Yeah, but is what he do that bad? To be top 10?
Yeah, like it's not like did he murder anybody?
No. Like yeah, he's bad. But
like he's a badder guy than Hans.
It's such an old movie that everyone knows about him. So that's why he's more iconic than maybe other.
So yeah, he stood the test of time. And, I guess you got to think of it relatively. Like, he's a villain in his story, even though it's not a story about killing people. Not everything has to be about killing people.
The Alien and Predators keep coming up on these lists as well, which is, I mean, I wouldn't say they're villains. I would just say it's more so characters. Like, the movies are about them, and it's not like, sci-fi's tough.
They're just like action figures that they set up to have you run away from.
What about the Chucky? Chucky should be on it. Chucky's definitely on a list.
But like again, I mean, not that believability is the end all be all of horror movie villains, but like Chucky doesn't.
I'm with you for a second there. I thought that was C-3PO when you scrolled real quick.
Oh my god, yes, C-3PO, the greatest villain of all time. I saw like on one had Jules from Pulp Fiction in the top 15. Like, that's a little crazy. Like,
the one. So we just scrolled. The woman from Get Out. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, that is probably.
But to be fair, I don't think you can just say one person in Get Out. I feel like they're all equally evil.
But society is the.
Yeah, but I'd say the teen girl is the most evil because she's. I guess I would say she is.
Yeah, like who's the sickest bastard in that?
Yeah,
but again, we're not talking about the most evil. We're talking about the best villain.
Gone Girl.
Ooh.
I hate that movie.
That's some scary
I can't
stuff.
stand that movie.
Ben Affleck's in that, huh?
Yeah, it's not a great movie.
Yeah, the Clockwork Orange guy comes up a lot. That's a movie I actually haven't seen. I probably should just give it a watch. I mean, I can't say I'm a fan of cinema without having seen Stanley
the moral
Kubrick.
of this is a lot of these lists are garbage.
Yeah.
Absolute just wrong. And for the sake of being wrong.
Right. They're probably just trying to be controversial. See, like, I think that if you're going to do... it's tough to do a top X number of people list.
Yeah.
I'm more of a fan of tier lists for this kind of thing.
I would say that's probably fair, yeah.
Put, S tier is like Darth Vader, Thanos, and to me, I put Wicked Witch up there as like S tier just because of how iconic.
I think you have to have Joker in that top one.
Yeah, and I think Joker too. And then like A tier, I have like the Emperor. I have like Jaws, Shark. I have like
probably Thanos
Hans.
Would be low end in there.
Yeah, so I'll have like Thanos there because he's not quite S tier yet. But before we go, I am gonna pull up my tier list, see if there are any interesting takes.
We should have both made tier lists.
I know. I just like that's something we could drop on our like Instagram story. But yeah, I was like brainstorming before you got here and just pulled it up. Yeah, so I have like B tier being like Killmonger, Magneto, Davy Jones.
That's fair.
But like that's probably a hot take because some people think Pirates of the Caribbean suck. Warden Norton from Shawshank Redemption.
That's a good one.
I think. And Henry Bowers, I think, is low-key a better villain from It than Pennywise. Just because there's the human element, the tragic kind of, kid who's abused at home, but then is really like trying to murder those kids, and then Pennywise takes advantage of that.
Fair enough.
I got Voldemort as A tier. I got Hannibal Lecter as A tier.
That's fair. It's a good list. We'll have to drop
our I actually did put Thanos in S tier, but like that's controversial. Then I have D tier as villains I really don't care about. So that's like Solomon.
Yeah.
That's like Count Dooku's interesting, but like I don't care. I have Jack Nicholson's Joker. I have like Freddy Krueger in there. Like,
that's fair.
I'll flesh it out a little bit more because right now it's like 25 people. I probably could make it more like 50, but we'll see. I like talking about bad guys.
But yeah, like I said, this was just, we were just shooting the shit and we were like, oh, we should just do a quick episode on that. So here we are.
Yeah, if you got any
for sure,
topics.
Yeah, bring some people. I feel like we covered a lot of, people that would come up in conversation. But yeah, if there's anyone we missed, let us know.
Yeah, let us know off the top who's your top 3, top 5 villains of all time. Do you think somebody's better than Darth Vader? Like,
yeah, seriously, I think that's the biggest question. If someone's better than Darth Vader, let's have the conversation. Let's argue.
Well, hey, thanks for tuning into the Pricey Popcorn podcast. Once again, it's great to get some content here for you folks. We're going to keep doing it, trying to get 52 episodes this year. We're going to do our best. Wish us luck.
Yeah, let us know if there's anything you want us to cover. I would say in general, if you could ask for more like bigger topics, not just to review one or two movies.
Yeah,
like
that's
do
like a horse of a different color.
You know, like give us a theme or something we can go through, not just, you know, review.
I mean, we could do like it's tough to like dive into one movie.
Instead of asking us to do like, you know, Django Unchained, say like, Leonardo DiCaprio movies
or Tarantino,
or Tarantino movies or something. So
top.
Just a thought, gives us something more to talk about. Give us, you know, shoot the shit, spur out some more knowledge. So,
yeah, maybe someday I can like. I mean, I'm interested in doing single movie stuff because I'm a writer and I like to essay things. I could do like a film essay of something, but like we're not there yet.
But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Take it easy. See you next week.
Yep. Take care.